for how to think about LGBT issues in philosophy. He notes a paradox where biological determinism and LGBT belief systems can be easily denaturalized. Then he goes on to talk about psychoanalysis and how LGBT activists don't like psychoanalysis and seems to negate traumatic subjectivity. The most important, however, point that Žižek makes is extending Freud's work of the theory of choice. Anyway, sorry, let's continue to the video.
To do with the topic of the talk. Today I decided to give a very traditional talk systematically about this topic, and please don't expect, I almost feel ashamed. I'm used to get interrupted to say something problematic about LGBT plus and so on, saying all the things wrong, you know. I renounce that today, don't be disappointed. Although I'm so sad I cannot afford a short introduction, improvisation, not to be able to go into this new conflicts, transgender, cis, and so on, all that stuff, because the more I think about it, the more I am tempted to oppose both sides. That is to say, on the one hand, of course, those who think, I even don't know how to call it. I'm, for theoretical reasons, opposed to the term gender. I think in sex you have a certain antagonism which remains there. But okay, why do I oppose both sides? On the one hand, those who preach, like those who think sexual identity is basically biologically determined, I wonder if you noticed it, an obvious paradox, inconsistency. People who advocate that sex identity is biologically determined are terribly afraid of LGBT open education. You know, when in kindergarten and schools you are attentive to, you want to make to the small child visible, palpable, that there are other options, not just what appears to be his, her, its, their biological sex. But then, if they believe in biological, more or less, determinism, why are they so afraid of LGBT plus propaganda? I think their secret belief is that they can be easily denaturalized, which means that they really believe even too much that sex is a sexual construct, you know. And then you can like overturn it with, on the other hand, what I oppose on the opposite side, it's not, of course not, LGBT as such, is just, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe if you will be too bored with nature, we can go into a debate later in this direction. Like, I think the choice between, on the one hand, what appears as biological, sexual identity, and the term that is always used or regularly used, and I don't like it, is that you should be free to decide to declare what you feel. Sorry, but for me, my greatest reproach to a certain LGBT plus ideology, which is we are free to choose, blah, blah, reconstruct ourselves, is that it makes it too easy. Too easy in the sense, in what sense? In the sense that no wonder many LGBT plus, some are very bright, people, they hate psychoanalysis. It's patriarchal, binary, all you want. But I think precisely the trans topic makes it clear how traumatic, inconsistent subjectivity is. Like, you can feel one thing, you are substantially another thing. Did you see, I forgot the title, there was a Belgian movie fiction, but based on a real case about a boy who wants to become a girl. And with great support from her colleagues, doctors, parents even, she does it, but it involves so many traumas, you know. So, okay, let's not get lost. We have nature to deal with, but my point is this one. Yes, I agree. Your sexual identity is a matter of, in some deep sense, of free choice. But the notion of freedom here is very radical. Let me mention a simple case. Let's say you are biologically, you appear as a man, you want to become whatever you want, let's say to simplify, a woman. But you know, this is not like going to a patisserie and say, sorry, till yesterday I was eating cheesecake, now I want strawberry cake. It's something very traumatic, which involves a lot of even physical suffering, surgery, traumas, and so on. So the freedom we are dealing here, it's not a simple freedom of choice, it's really something like unconscious choice. And I more and more think that the big contribution of Freud to theory of choice is that in our unconscious we are much more free than in our conscious self-awareness. The most radical choices, we experience them as necessity. The true choice is when you feel about something, I can't do it otherwise. Although it's my free choice. But radical freedom appears as fake, if you want. And all these things are so complicated. I don't know if you know it, something happened. It was a big trauma in my, as your beloved President X, maybe future Trump put it, shithole of a country, Slovenia. There was a really tragic hate. My wife knew that boy, girl. A young, already student, okay, early 20s. Boy successfully became a woman. He went through all the surgery, blah, blah, blah. No problems, parents accepted it, friends, blah, blah. Then something happened. On a certain day, she got official letter from city authorities where you are registered as a citizen that she is now officially a woman. She killed herself instantly. You see how apparently totally external thing, like how it's registered by the big other of state institution, ruined everything. So the reason I think Freud can still tell us a lot, Freud and today's Freudians, precisely about transgender identity. I think that they are the most free people, but they pay a price for it, great price. And that's where they need not our patronizing support, but how to put it, you know, when we have these polemics about how sexual identity should be playful, like today I'm gay, tomorrow I'm hetero, then I play another game and so on. Isn't something, how should I put it, patronizingly humiliating in this? It somehow ignores the deep personal traumas, complexities, and even, I would have put it, the real profound suffering of changing your sexual identity. That's the problem. And I think, again, psychoanalysis has a role to play here, but